to feel powerful. I acclimated. You know, that's what the nervous system does. It acclimates. So now, even with 2, I don't feel that powerful. But, all right, but what? Yeah, I need to. Well, yeah, I need them all around, hanging. No, and I'm trying to feel the angle of this, because this is what people do because they don't want to be heard. So they take the microphone and they go, well, what I felt today. Okay. So share, somebody, practice finding the right angle. Oh, yeah, keep your head down. I shouldn't be making fun. I know for some people it's traumatic, but okay. The talking stick. Well, any differences about what should we share about, Margaret? Any insights? We don't have much time, but
I just think all that stuff about not moving something and trying to talk and be heard is just incredible. Wasn't all that clever. But I mean, I just wish we could talk a bit about, can you hear me now and what's happening?
yeah.
You know, I just think all that's incredible.
Well, and people do that. Oh. Right.
Actually, yes, I found that stuff was really, really good too. Yeah. I found that I was talking, and then when we had to isolate either the tongue and the lips, and then the tongue and the teeth without the lips, that everything just, I didn't try to articulate, it just became crisp.
Just in relation to the scan that we did, then I found I was pretty preoccupied with trying to get the pace right, and then I sort of forgot about the otthe parts of the. So I'd like to do it again.
Yeah, we should have time tomorrow to do it again. I think all these things, first approximation, right? Once is definitely not enough. It's just, and we're going to do more stuff tomorrow with the voice, so you could try it again. Yeah, I agree. We had a lot of balls in the air, but also, I mean, I'm assuming there'll be homework around it, or practice with your spouses or whoever, friends.
I have another thing to say.
What?
I have another thing to say.
Okay.
Also, when you pointed out that you need to really think about what you're asking of the other person,
right?
I figured out that that's what sometimes I don't do, and even when I'm taking people through their Pilates things, some teachers can ask someone to do something and think about their body. And then because I find, they might not get it, so I'm not really present when I ask them for it, and then they don't get it. So I just found that really, really helpful when I did my talky talk just then.
See, that, I think, one thing I got from being with Feldenkrais, and it took me a long time to figure, I mean, of course it took me years to figure it all out, but when he asked you to do a movement, he knew the move. He had the movement in his own self-image. He had the understanding outside his own self-image. He had his breathing coming from where you say hara. Julie said you did the Tonden lesson last segment, which is one of the ones that goes well with the voice work with Zoran. This feeling of to really feel where the breathing comes from. We'll do a little bit tomorrow, but I mean, so he had the hara, he had the low down, he had the certainty, he had the image, and he knew that what he was asking you to do was the most important thing that you could possibly do in that moment. So he was bringing it all into that moment. And when you were with him, because I took from many different teachers before I took the training, you felt it. And also, this thing that came up yesterday, I might have been you, it came from that side of the room. Somebody said, actually Jane mentioned it too. I don't know, is Jane? You said when he was asking us to feel all those things in the jaw, there was this demand Very interesting. He didn't sound demanding. And yet there's this way in which if he asks you to do something, he's commanding you in a way. You know, you can move your jaw, you can feel your jaw. So it's this whole internal organization that we can play with when we teach ATM. And I believe it makes a big difference. Maybe not, but I believe it does because I know what I experienced with his teaching. Did you want to say something? So, yeah, thank you. I agree.
And that's why when you're preparing ATM to give classes, you've got to lie on the floor and feel it. You can't just read it. And you can't just remember from before because you'll forget something that's absolutely vital. It's got to be embodied.
Yeah. I do.
And it takes time. And I'm sorry it takes time. But the time you spend is your learning. And it's cumulative. I still take 2 or 3 hours to more sometimes. Anyway, they haven't heard.
Yeah, no, I mean, we can do it in less. I can do it in my head. If you don't think that I know how to teach a flexor lesson after 30 years, you could, feel pretty sorry for me. But we get down on the floor before we teach because we enter that world of the importance of all the sensations. We revivify it, if you will. We bring it into the moment, right? Or you do it inside. Or I'm sure Moshe was doing stuff inside. I don't know. I never asked him. We do the movement inside. You'll see. So many people say when they teach, they feel like they've gotten a lesson. Yeah.
I was initially reading out the scan to Shauna, and she said she could notice that I was reading it. And then I tried it again, just from my memory. And when I was doing that, I was just going through it in my mind and my body, and Shauna really enjoyed it. So that was a big difference.
Yeah. This is the underbelly. We're kind of lifting off the, I don't know what, or the veil or something, talking about, because you probably think I've just been coming here and shooting my mouth off for a couple of weeks, but actually I've been working on myself. All right, good.
This was just some feedback I gave Joel already, but
Sorry.
when he asked me to focus on my left side first, and just the way that he said it, either it was really clear in his mind or just the way that he said it, my whole left side was like, oh, this is on the ground and this is off the ground and this is going on, and oh my God, just so much information just from him saying left side.
Left side. I like the way you said that, Ella. Left side. That
was really
side
good.
has a lot of resonance, that word, huh? Well, I hate to say something nice to you, but you do have a lot of resonance.
That can be a good and bad thing.
Have you studied voice? Yeah. I
But I forgot it all in minutes.
which system?
Oh, well, actually, through my old agent teacher, she was a Feldenkrais practitioner, so I guess we did a lot of this stuff, but I forgot it all.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to share one thing which I noticed during the segment. We were asked to do pelvic lock lessons, and then we had to paraphrase in our own way and then take the classes, like with our colleagues, like with our friends. Every time we were doing, so I did it few times, like 7-8 times before I actually described it in my words, and then took the class. And every time I was doing it, I was missing legs. And until someone in our group, so we meet.
I mean, you never asked them to feel their legs.
No.
They just had a pelvis and...
I mean...
Yeah.
So I think I was not pushing through my leg, not my feet to move the pelvis, which was every time missing. And then Simon took the lesson and he did the same thing. He didn't mention the feet again. And then Ginny took the lesson and she mentioned the legs first thing.
Yeah.
And we were like amazed, like the whole lesson changed. the whole, everything changed, the way we were doing the lesson. So my question is now, maybe I know after a while we might like our self-image will definitely increase and it will be a bigger picture. But how would we know, like when we start taking lessons, there are a few things which are not going to be in our image and we're going to miss the vital, the important
Well,
ingredient in that
it's
recipe.
kind of related to your question you asked about how
So-
also understanding lessons. How do we understand what the lesson's about?
But the
Well,
homework
we
helped.
get to make we will make mistakes. We do make mistakes, and we do learn from our mistakes. And the good news is that if you get a decent text to start with, if you get the source materials, means Moshe, how he taught the lesson, and you kind of follow it, the lesson will work while the universe is waiting for us to get good at it. So, I mean, that's the good news. And I heard an educational director tell his group once, you don't have to understand these lessons at all. This is why I couldn't get into that with you, because it's complicated. The other day you asked me about it. So the thing is, he said, oh, don't worry about understanding the lesson, just teach the lesson. And they were teaching from the Esalen notes. So if you get a good text to start with, the structure, you're going to study it, you're going to study it with each other, you're going to learn from each other, you're going to make mistakes. I've made so many mistakes. I still make mistakes every day of my life, but the difference is I'm more comfortable with it now. And I find it sometimes interesting, like, ooh, that's interesting, you know. So it's going to, your knowledge is going to grow with doing it. And you can't bat 100%, you know, you can't come in at 100% first time. You know, so, but good that you had friends to learn from.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking, because we took the lesson from the book, I just took that lesson straight from, I was reading it, but I wasn't picturing, the feet were not in the picture.
From the ATM book.
No, it was there in the lesson, but, and I don't know, maybe it was not in my image, so I didn't use it as.
Well, that's what you do. I mean, when I was preparing my notes, there was always one variation. I didn't know why it was in the lesson. And so I didn't feel like giving it to the students. I thought, I don't like this variation. I'm not going to do it. No, really. And then I would teach the lesson, and sometimes, or even in trainings, I've done that. But then at the end of the lesson, I would go, oh, I see. They didn't arrive where I thought. Oh, that was the key, that very, you know, so it's just, it's an ongoing study. That's really good learning. Yeah.
I never wrote down the scan the other day, and I could feel that it never came out one bit. You know, like I could tell that I wasn't prepared. My whole self was not in the, in the thing.
Sorry.
No,
Go home and write it out. We'll do it again tomorrow. Okay. You got to be, I mean, that's why I had you go in the groups, and I thought we did it, but yeah. You want to stay all night till we get this worked out, or what are we going to talk about tomorrow? You're excused. What are we going to talk about tomorrow? No. No. I'm sorry, but they only had one presenter, and I ran out of time, and so it was mutually agreed that when that one presenter had a couple of colleagues, they'd do joint of the week, so we're going to skip it this week. We're going to continue on with this theme. Tomorrow's my last day, so hopefully we'll finish on a good note. See you then.
Please remember to take your cup to the kitchen and give it a quick bath before you go home.